horses are fantastic, and so is a king. But when they come in pairs, disaster they bring on Kutchucks. And here's the host of Kutchucks, Jim Perry.
I'm going to get a head start. Thank you, Dad. Hello there. Welcome to Card Sharks. Thank you for joining us at home and a nice group here in the studio. Gene Wood, you're very kind. And a nice opening poem sent in by Ann Young of Yucaipa, California, watching us on KNBC Channel 4. Thank you, Ann. Now we're going to open up the board and get to those cards. Go ahead. And Janice and Kristen, if you will, start loading in the cards, and we'll meet our Card Sharks. Toby Smith, our champion. Hi, Toby.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
I'm glad to be here.
Again, a little reminder about you.
Well, I tell you, my name is Toby Smith. I live in Long Beach, California. I am a sales manager by profession. Wintertime, I like to ski. Summertime, I like to play tennis. And I like to play Card Sharks.
Well, I can't blame you because you play it very well. Toby's won $3,100 in cash with us. Challenger Julie Williams. Hi, Julie. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
And again, a little reminder about you.
My name is Julie Williams, and I'm from Pacifica, California. I'm an airline stewardess. I have a husband, 3 children, a horse, a dog, a bird, and a cat.
That's definitely a full crowd. She's
right.
also a very good player because she won game 1 in our best 2 out of 3, and we're going to pick up where we left off. You both got the cards, of course?
You sure did.
Then let's pick it up. As I say, 2 out of 3, and Julie won game 1. So we have dealt out the same 2 decks of cards. We're about to start game 2 with a question to Julie. Julie, we found 100 geniuses. These are all people whose IQ is above the genius level. And we asked them, did you ever flunk out of school? How many geniuses said, yes, they did flunk out of school?
Well, I think that's got to be, well, maybe a medium number, because some of them are going to apply themselves, but school for some is just boring. And so they're not going to pay attention, they're going to play around, and so the teachers are going to think they're stupid, and they're going to flunk them. So that's kind of a middle-of-the-road number. So I'm going to have to say, 40.
40 out of 100 geniuses.
I agree for
flunked out of
logic.
school.
I agree for logic because, you know, geniuses, sometimes your brain's so going, you don't concentrate on what you're doing. But I don't think they want to admit that. I think they're going to be a little lower. I think they're going to be a little lower.
You say lower.
Yes.
Well, if it is lower, you'll play your cards, Toby. If not, it'll be Julie with hers. And the actual number of geniuses who flunked out of school is 15.
Yeah.
Toby's right. It is lower. However, if 15 geniuses flunked out, there's hope for the rest of us. And Toby starts off game 2 with a 3.
Yes, got to be higher. Got to be higher.
3. Yes, a 7.
Oh, we got to hold. We got to hold. Freeze.
And we move over the freeze bar, protecting that position for Toby. Question 2 to you, Toby.
All right.
We asked 100 16-year-old girls, if a crazy new law said that a mother got to choose her daughter's husband, would your mother choose a real turkey for you? How many 16-year-old girls said, yeah, their mom would choose a real turkey for them?
I think at 16-year-old, you still think your mom is out of it. She doesn't have a clue. And I bet you about 20 of those girls thought their mother was all right, but only 20.
So you're saying that 80 of them said mom would
No,
pick a
I'd
real
say
turkey?
only 20 of them.
Well, the question is...
80. I'm saying right. You're right. 80 would say it would be turkeys.
Okay. 80 out of 100 16-year-olds said, yeah, mom would pick a turkey.
That has got to definitely be lower. My mom was a great mom. I remember when I was 16 years old, and she was always with it, and she would have never picked a turkey for me, so I'm going to say lower.
You're going to say lower.
That's right.
Who would want to be married to a turkey anyway? 80 for Toby, lower for Julie. The actual number of 16-year-old girls who said their mom would choose a real turkey for them is 39. Julie's right, it is lower. Yeah. Moms do know a thing or two. And Julie starts this game with a 2.
Good card. Let's go higher.
Higher than a 2. A 5.
Let's go higher.
Risking it higher. It is a 6.
Freeze.
Now we move over the freeze bar, and Julie takes the advantage by 1 card. Question 3 to you, Julie. We asked 100 psychiatrists, in your opinion, can a person who has a sex change operation find true happiness as a member of the opposite sex? How many psychiatrists said a person who has a sex change operation can find true happiness?
I think that's going to be a high number because before they had the sex change, they were unhappy, and they were unhappy with themselves. So any change is going to be for the better, and they can find real happiness. I'm going to say that's got to be a high number. It's going to be 69.
69 of the 100 psychiatrists said, well, yes, they can find true happiness.
I'm sorry I can't relate to that question, but I'm gonna say 69 is a little high. They were unhappy with themselves to get the sex change operation, but just by changing yourself still doesn't change your mind. So I'm gonna say it's a little lower.
You say lower.
They want their money.
Actually, I was thinking as you said that, they possibly could relate to both sides of the question. That's 69 for Julie and lower for Toby. The actual number of psychiatrists who said a person who has a sex change operation can find true happiness is 43.
All right.
It is lower, and Toby has it. Interesting.
Okay, change the card and make them good.
Now winning the question, he has the right to change it, and it's a good change.
Boy, I tell you, those jacks have been bad to me today. I'm going to have to go lower. I'm going to save the odds.
Lower? Yes,
they've been good. I'm going to go higher, definitely.
Higher than 4.
Yes. I'm going to freeze.
Now we move over the freeze bar. Toby needs 1 card. Julie needs 2 cards. Sudden death. Someone has to win this game on this play of the cards. Toby, we surveyed 100 women who are married to U.S. congressmen in Washington, D.C. And we asked them, does your husband ever ask your advice on which way to vote? How many wives of congressmen said yes, their husband does ask their advice on how to vote?
Watching the media, they always talk about when they ask a candidate, they say, well, my wife said, and I think they agree a lot of times with what their wives say. I'm going to say they want to protect their wives, stay good at home. I'm going to say 80 of them said yes, they do talk of their people.
80 out of 100, Julie?
I think that's going to be a lower number, Jim. A lot of them ask their wife's opinion, but I don't think it's going to be quite that high. I'm going to say lower.
You say lower. This will decide control and sudden death. The actual number of wives of congressmen who said their husband does ask their advice on how to vote is 39. Very much lower. Julie, you're right. Julie, it is sudden death. You have control with a 6. You could play it for 2 cards. Toby near the middle with a 9, but he needs only 1 card. Your decision. Play or pass?
I think I'll pass it to Toby.
Then it comes down to 1 call. Toby, if you call this right, you've tied up the match. If you call it wrong, we have a new champion.
Hey, I've been going up higher all day long. Got to go higher.
And again, he goes against the odds.
Yeah!
He's right again. Let's play it up. That is exactly what happened on our last show when he went against the odds to tie things up coming from behind. And now each player with 1 game and $100 we set up for the tiebreaker. 3 cards up there. 3 questions here. Julie, we start the tiebreaker with you. Julie, we asked 100 people. If money could buy time and a millionaire offered to buy 5 years of your life for $1 million, would you sell? How many people would sell 5 years of their life for $1 million?
Jim, that's going to be a low number. I know I wouldn't sell 5 years of my life for any amount of money. Life's too precious. So I'm going to say that's got to be real low. 11.
11 out of 100 people would.
You know, I tell you, I like your logic. I think it makes sense. But, you know, we're asking 100 people, and I think there's got to be more than 11 people who would like to get $1 million for 5 years. Wouldn't bother them a bit. I'm going to say higher.
You say higher?
Yeah.
The actual number of people who would sell 5 years of their life for $1 million is 12 by 1. It is higher. Wow. Both players were right around it, and Toby comes out on top. With 2.
Higher.
Higher than a 2. And 8.
Lower.
For the championship. Lower. Yes. Toby wins it. Coming from behind. My goodness. Julie, we have to say goodbye. You've got 1 game, $100, and a lot of nice parties.
Thank you, Jim. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Julie. Julie Williams. Toby, come on down here. I think this is the 3rd time in a row you've come from behind with 2 in a row. And this time I hope he tops it off with some great money cards coming at you right after this. Back with a fine champion, Toby Smith, who always manages to find a way to come from behind. Did you cut the money cards?
Yes, I did. I'm ready.
All right, come on, Toby. Let's get up there and kill him. Let's go. Let's get him really hot for you, Toby. I hope you gave him a great cut. $200 in new money.
I did.
3 cards. Your decision how you bet them. Move up to the 2nd level. We add another $200 of betting money, and we give you 3 more cards. Minimum bet's $50 till you get to the top card. The big bet, where you must risk at least half the money. Come on. $200.
Okay.
And remember, Toby, you can change the base card on each level if you need to. Thank you, Kristen. We'll start, Toby, with...
Yeah! 200 down.
Whole thing, $200.
Whole thing.
That this is lower than an ace. And it is.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say 50 lower.
$50 minimum bet, lower than a 10. He's right again.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to say 300 up.
$300 higher than a 3. No. You and your doubles over here, Toby. Doggone.
It's all right.
But we're going to give you the other 200 when we move up to 3. It is a good card, and you've got $350.
Okay, I got $200. Says higher.
200. Higher. 3 threes.
It's all right. I got to win one of these, don't I?
I hope it's this one.
I hope to, too. Okay, $150. It's got no, $100. $100 is going to be up.
$100. Higher. That is the first time, and I don't think I'm mistaken, it is the first time in over 2 years on the show that 4 in a row have come up. Doesn't that make you feel better,
Hey,
Toby?
that's great.
Come on, you got $50 at a 3.
Well, I know. I got to win, right? All of it up.
Well, it could be a 2, but let's not see one. Higher. A 4.
Yeah.
And we move up to 4. Toby, with your luck, be careful.
My luck is changing. 100 all the way. I got to win it.
All right, come
Gotta
on.
win.
Give this man $200, please.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't believe that. Oh. You know, you play so well, and you have such terrible luck over there. Oh, my goodness. Nonetheless, inching along, $3,500 is not bad for inching. We'll be right back with a new challenger in a moment. First time. Never happened. Never happened.
Arigato.
Okay, Toby. Janice deals out 2 brand new decks of cards, and that means it's time to meet a new challenger on Card Sharks. Maury Kirsch. Hello, Maury. Welcome. I'm fine. You stand there in front of the mic, sir. Nice to have you here. Maury, you got a lot of friends. Isn't that nice?
How do you like that?
Won't you tell us about you?
Well, a little bit about me. I'm a senior citizen, as you can see. And I've been married about a quarter of a century more than you have, Jim.
How do you know that?
Oh, come on. Don't you think people listen to your show?
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, you mentioned, yes, I just had my 21st wedding anniversary. And incidentally, a lot of people, I mentioned it casually, a lot of people sent in cards and congratulated my wife and I. We thank you. It was very kind of you to do so. But you've been married a quarter of a century longer than that.
Exactly. 46 years.
That's nice.
And I'll tell you something else you won't believe. My wife and I are members of the American Contract Bridge League. And we are one of the few husband and wife teams that still play together after that time.
And you don't fight?
Oh, we fight once in a while, and I like to give her a, you know what? But she'd like to do it to me, too. And we have 2 children, Maureen and Sheldon, 2 grandchildren, Paul and Andrew, who just graduated with honors from high school last week.
They should all live and be well. Maury.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim.
Maury, 46 years of marriage.
46.
If your wife trumps your ace, are you going to make year 47? Got to think about that one, don't you, Maury?
Say that again.
Did you cut the cards?
I cut the
Let's
cards.
get into playing some cards right here. We will start the match. Good luck to both of you. And a question to you, Toby. Toby, we asked 100 newlywed men. On your wedding night, did your wife say to you, your wedding night, did your wife say, not tonight, dear, I have a headache? How many newlywed men said on their honeymoon their wife claimed to have a headache?
I hope not. I'm not married, but boy, if she said that to me, I tell you, I would say that no, you're really tired. You know, you've been doing all your thing during the day, and you're going to be tired. But that's a poor thing to say. I'd say only maybe 25 ladies would actually have the gall to say that.
25 out of 100. Maury, 46 years of marriage. What is your opinion?
My opinion of that is really, let's not say it, but there aren't 25?
25?
There aren't 25 women who would say that on their wedding night. I think it has to be lower.
You say lower.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of agreement from the audience. The actual number of newlywed men who said on their honeymoon their wife claimed to have a headache is 4. That's all. Maury's got it. Maury, the challenger, starts off the match with a 7.
Let's change it, yeah.
You can change it. And a good change.
Wow.
An ace.
Lower.
Lower than an ace. Yes, a 7.
Freeze.
Freeze. We move over the freeze bar.
I wish I had time, Jim. Have I got a story about a headache?
Okay. Well, listen, Maury's going to tell me a story, gang. Would you take time out for this commercial message? Tell me about the headache there, Maury. What was that there? I thank you. I've got to tell you You know, Gene's lovely wife came down and joined us in the studio today, and when Gene said he had a headache, she started to cheer. I don't know what that was all about. Well, Maury's moved over now with a 7 as his base card. He needs 3 cards. We pick up with question 2, and it goes to Maury. Maury, we asked what, and incidentally, we can't repeat his joke to you either. Maury, we asked 100 parole officers. Parole officers, in your opinion, are most prison sentences too short? How many parole officers said yes, most prison sentences are too short?
Well, from the way the prisoners get out and wind up back in again, I think the sentences are too short. The parole boards have been very lenient because of the fact they don't have the facilities to keep the prisoners in longer. And they figure that if they're in for a little time, maybe they have rehabilitated themselves and will go straight.
So how many feel they're too short?
I would say about 65.
65 out of 100 feel they're too short, Toby.
I'd say most of the guys don't want to see him back. But I think they're going to be 65. I'd say a little more. I'd say more of them say
Even
it's
higher
too
than
short.
that.
Yeah.
And of course, we're asking the parole officers. The actual number of parole officers who said most prison sentences are too short is 85. Very much higher. Toby.
All right, cards, come on.
Let's see what Toby has to start with. A 10.
Let's change it. Let's change it.
10 to a 6.
Higher. Gotta be higher.
Higher than a 6. Yes,
yeah.
9.
Let's hold. Let's freeze. 9's in the bad mood.
9s, usually you've called them pretty good, Toby. Let's see how you do with this one. Toby, we asked 100 bachelors. Have you ever forgotten to take the frozen dinner out of the box before you put it in the oven? How many bachelors have forgotten to take the frozen dinner out of the box before heating it?
I think about my 2 roommates, and both of them can't boil water, and when they say to put the fork into the thing, they put the fork in while the box is already on it. And I know that they've done it. So I'll take those 2, and I'll add about 40 more. I'll say 42 have done that.
42, including his roommates, Maury. Higher or lower?
Well, if a bachelor can't read the directions on a frozen package of food, then he deserves to not eat it. But I think they can do that, and the number is going to be lower.
You say lower?
Oh, sure.
The actual number of bachelors who've forgotten to take the frozen dinner out of the box before heating it is 14. You're right, Maury. It is lower. Toby's roommate and 12 others. You got it. Maury, you got a 7.
Let's change it, Jim.
Now, winning the question, you can make that all-important change, and a great one with an ace.
Lower.
Lower than an ace. An 8.
Freeze.
Raising on the middle card. Toby needs 3 cards. Maury needs 2 cards. Sudden death. Someone has to win it right here. Maury, we asked 100 senior citizen women. Do you wish the women's liberation movement had begun 50 years earlier? How many senior citizen women do wish women's lib had begun 50 years earlier?
I think a lot of women would wish for that because it's becoming more and more popular, and more women young women are partaking in that movement. So I would say there should be about 75.
75 out of 100 senior citizen women wish women's lib had begun 50 years earlier.
Yeah, I think the words women liberation to many older women strikes up burning bras and doing all that bit. And I think a lot of them are going to reject that. So I say lower. I think they like the way they are.
The actual number of senior citizen women who wish women's lib had begun 50 years earlier is 31. And you're right, Toby. It is lower. Toby, you've got control. It is sudden death. You can play it for 3 cards. Force Murray to pass it, to play it for 2 cards. Play or pass?
Maury, play it, would you?
All right, Maury, if you get them both, you win the game, but 1 mistake, and the game belongs to Toby with an 8. Big call.
I'll go with the crowd. Lower.
Lower than an 8. It is a 5.
Higher.
For the first game of the match, yes! Maury and the crowd have game number 1, and we'll be back with those smart people right after this. My friend. Your friend.
This is Gene Wood speaking for Card Sharks. A Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
Maury, we asked 100 parole officers. Parole officers, in your opinion, are most prison sentences too short? How many parole officers said yes, most prison sentences are too short?
Well, from the way the prisoners get out and wind up back in again, I think the sentences are too short. The parole boards have been very lenient because of the fact they don't have the facilities to keep the prisoners in longer. And they figure that if they're in for a little time, maybe they have rehabilitated themselves and will go straight.
So how many feel they're too short?
I would say about 65.
65 out of 100 feel they're too short, Toby.
I'd say most of the guys don't want to see him back. But I think they're going to be 65. I'd say a little more. I'd say more of them say
Even
it's
higher
too
than
short.
that.
Yeah.
And of course, we're asking the parole officers. The actual number of parole officers who said most prison sentences are too short is 85. Very much higher. Toby.
All right, Cards, come on.
Let's see what Toby has to start with.
Yeah,
10.
let's change it. Let's change it.
10 to a 6.
Higher. Gotta be higher.
Higher than a 6. Yes,
Yeah.
9.
Let's hold. Let's freeze. 9's been bad news.
9s, usually you've called them pretty good, Toby. Let's see how you do with this one. Toby, we asked 100 bachelors. Have you ever forgotten to take the frozen dinner out of the box before you put it in the oven? How many bachelors have forgotten to take the frozen dinner out of the box before heating it?
I think about my 2 roommates, and both of them